welcome to the deep dive. So you've brought us just one source today.
That's right. A single review, looking at the film Sisu.
Okay, Sisu. And our mission here, working only from what this review tells us, is to figure out what makes this film tick. You know, what's special about it, the main character, and how it connects to this core idea.
And you know, the review dives straight into that. The title itself, Sisu. It explicitly says, look, this word just doesn't really translate into English.
Right off the bat, that's interesting. Tells you it's maybe coming from a different perspective. So how does the review define it then?
It calls it a white-knuckled form of courage and unimaginable determination.
Wow, okay. White-knuckled.
Yeah, and it goes further. It says it's a dogged determination to survive that makes the bulldog spirit look like a tea dance.
A tea dance. Okay, so we're talking about something seriously intense. Way beyond just being tough.
That's the impression the reviewer gives. Absolutely. Something extreme.
And the review puts this. The Sisu, where exactly? What's the setting?
Finland, 1944. Tail end of World War II.
All right.
And it makes a point of mentioning the context, you know, the Nazi scorched-earth policy after Finland made a pact with Russia. So the landscape is just devastated.
Bleak stuff.
Yeah.
And into this world, the review introduces Tommy, sorry.
Tommy, yeah. And at first glance, the review says he just looks like, well, a lonely farmer, maybe a prospector, just trying to survive out there.
But that doesn't last long, I guess.
No, the review mentions the inciting incident pretty quickly. He strikes gold, like proper gold.
Okay. The classic find, so he wants to cash it in.
Exactly. Tries to take it somewhere, which, as the review notes, seems kind of hopeless given the situation.
And I'm guessing that's where things go wrong.
That's where he runs straight into Bruno and his unit of German soldiers.
Right, the antagonists.
And according to the review, that encounter is what sets everything else in motion.
Okay, so digging into this review's take, what we really want to unpack is, what kind of person does the review say Tommy really is? What's the action like? And how does all that supposedly add up to this idea of Sisu?
Right. And the review, well, it doesn't waste time showing he's not just some farmer. That comes out pretty early.
Yeah, there was one detail the review highlights that really jumped out, something about him washing in a lake.
Oh, yeah, that bit. The review describes seeing his body covered in bullet holes, scars.
Yeah.
Even one that looks like he's already been autopsied. That's a quote from the reviewer.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's visual. The reviewer really wanted to paint a picture there.
And what's interesting, as the review points out, is the contrast, right? He's described as taciturn, doesn't say much, kind of the strong, silent type. But those scars, they tell a whole different story. A violent past, basically, without him needing to say a word.
And the review says the legend of who he really is quickly revealed during the first big action scene, which the reviewer calls gloriously decadent violence.
Exactly. So the action isn't just stuff happening. The reviewer sees it as the way his identity as past gets revealed.
Oh, okay, so it's tied into the character.
Precisely. And this is where that Sisu concept really comes into play. The review says the script explains early on how he has the skills and the Sisu that he does.
So the backstory isn't just flavor text, according to the reviewer. It's essential to understanding why he can do what he does later.
That's the argument the review makes, yeah. It justifies the almost superhuman determination he shows when facing these Germans.
The review also touches on the film's style, right? Mentions chapters.
Yeah, like split into chapters with these distinct titles. The reviewer calls it Tarantino-esque.
Okay, Tarantino-esque. And it mentions other influences, too.
Peckinpah Westerns are mentioned, you know, gritty, violent.
Right.
Tarantino, obviously, for maybe the structure and stylized violence. And then more modern action films like John Wick or Nobody.
That's quite a mix. Peckinpah, Tarantino, John Wick. It gives you a sense, doesn't it? Suggests it's not aiming for gritty realism, maybe something more heightened, cinematic.
Especially with the violence, yeah. It seems like the reviewer sees it as very stylized, almost operatic.
And the words the reviewer uses for that violence, they're pretty strong. Escalates at a rate of knots.
Yeah, and well executed.
Yeah.
Extremely well paced. But also, like you said before, gloriously decadent.
Decadent, that's such a specific word for violence. What do you think the reviewer means by that? Why choose that word?
It really stands out, doesn't it? I think. The reviewer seems to imply it's not just functional violence, just to move the plot. It suggests it's presented with a kind of flair, maybe excessive detail, almost like a spectacle.
Making it part of the film's whole aesthetic.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just something that happens, but something the film wants you to really look at.
And the review gives examples, doinking a landmine off a Nazi's head.
Right. Or slitting another's throat in a spectacular underwater sequence.
Oh, okay, spectacular. So definitely not shying away. The review also says you need to hear it too. Mentions every bone crunch, every innards rupture, every splatter of deep vermilion blood.
Oof. Yeah, that level of detail, plus calling it decadent. It strongly suggests the reviewer feels the film fully embraces the graphic nature. It's central to the storytelling, maybe even how it shows Atami's, his Sisu.
Which loops back to Atami. How does he embody the Sisu through his actions? The review liked the lead actor's performance, Jorma Tommila.
Yeah, praises his physical performance. Says he conveys a lot with just like a look or a tensed fist, since he barely speaks.
Right.
But what the reviewer really focuses on, for that unimaginable determination part, is how Atami deals with his own injuries.
Oh yeah, that part was intense. Describes him patching himself up with matches and petrol.
Exactly. And the reviewer quotes a line they found really key. This is, after all, a lead character who is willing to set himself on fire or impale himself just to keep going.
Just to keep going.
Wow, and that's where it gets really interesting, tying back to that definition of Sisu. It's not just fighting the enemy. According to this review, it's this willingness to endure or even inflict on yourself extreme pain just to survive, just to push forward.
Overcoming your own body breaking down, essentially.
By any means necessary.
Yeah.
The reviewer seems to use that to really define the unimaginable aspect of Sisu in this film.
The review also gave nods to some technical aspects, didn't it? Said they helped sell the whole thing.
It did.
Yeah.
Specifically mentioned Jorma Tommila's physical performance, again, as vital. Axel Henny, as Bruno, the villain, called him a perfect, steely-eyed villain.
Good casting is key for that kind of face-off.
Definitely. And it praised the special effects and the prosthetic makeup, said they were flawless in making that graphic violence believable, or at least visually impactful.
And the sound and look.
Yep. Mentioned a guttural, masculine, and raw soundtrack that apparently uses throat singing, which sounds different.
Throat singing. Interesting choice. Fits the raw feel, maybe.
Seems like it. And the cinematography described the Lapland setting as devastated. All dull grays, browns, blues, and blacks. Very bleak.
Creating a strong mood.
And the reviewer suggests that emptiness makes the encounters with the Germans even more jarring. They just dominate the frame when they show up in that desolate landscape.
One thing the review notes as maybe counterintuitive is the language, mostly English.
Yeah, which, as the reviewer says, seems odd for a film called Sisu, set in Finland.
A Finnish word you can't translate, but they speak English.
But the reviewer argues it works because, and this is a quote again, the landscape, the violence, and the look in Atami's eyes do most of the talking.
Ah, okay. So the reviewer feels the core ideas, like Sisu, come across visually and through action, not necessarily through dialogue.
That seems to be the takeaway. It's about the visceral experience, the visuals, the raw feeling from Tommila's performance.
So if we pull all these threads from the review together, what's the final picture it paints? It calls the film 90 minutes of balls-to-the-wall chaos.
And fantastically unapologetic violence.
Yeah. The reviewer thinks Atami is easy to root for, the lone wolf thing we like in movies, but also says we haven't seen anything like him.
So connecting that all up, the review presents a film that sounds like it's incredibly focused, just zeroed in on showing this extreme survival, this intense determination against impossible odds.
And filtering it through this very stylized, very graphic lens.
Right, using everything, the acting, the music, the look of it, to just hammer home that central idea, that Sisu.
Okay, so bringing our deep dive into this specific review to a close, we've seen it describe a film really built from the ground up around this concept of Sisu, this almost mystical level of determination.
Yeah, that unimaginable determination that's supposedly beyond translation. The review definitely highlighted the film's style, the chapters, the genre blending.
And the violence. Escalating, inventive, maybe even decadent, and very graphic, according to the reviewer.
And central to it all is Atami, this taciturn figure who embodies Sisu through action, not words, with Jorma Tommila's physical performance being key, as the review stresses.
Plus the supporting elements the reviewer like the villain, the effects, that unique soundtrack, the bleak visuals, all serving that core story.
Right. The review really paints a picture of a film just relentlessly focused on pushing survival and determination to the absolute edge.
And, considering how the review emphasizes Onatomi's willingness to hurt himself, the fire, the impalement, just to keep moving, just to embody the Sisu, it leaves you with a pretty intense question, doesn't it?
Definitely. Something for you to think about after hearing this. Based on this review's description, what does unimaginable determination actually look like when survival might mean intentionally harming yourself? Just how far would someone with real Sisu, as portrayed here, actually go?